Hey,
Yeah.
so
Hey.
I wanna, yo, yeah, we were talking about being a vegan or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, a minute ago. Um,
Talking about it.
I mean,
Let's just jump right in, man. So
cool. I'm down.
we were talking a bit about, spending time and having time for yourself more. But I guess I'm curious, man. Give a general answer, or a general answer to this question. How's
Yeah.
isolation been so far?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just been probably pretty similar to you, where I mean, just only seeing a couple people and just mostly staying at home, which trying to do what we're supposed to do, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I mean, I've had time to do a lot of projects, kind of like you were saying too, that I normally wouldn't have the time to do.
Right.
Like a lot of random online collaborations, or like just making tracks and posting videos and that kind of stuff, which is fun. Always something I've enjoyed doing, but it's kind of cool to have more time to just try it out. Um,
Mm.
but I don't know. I feel fortunate that I do have like some teaching work, and I'm able to do all that through Zoom, which is cool. And like so, like private students, and then also teaching at the school, teaching classes, which has been cool. It's definitely an adjustment. It's hard to get the same kind of interaction that you normally get, but it works pretty well. And then I've just been meeting up with I guess, only couple of people I've seen have just been some of my bandmates that I make music with all the time. So trying to stay productive with those guys too. But it's weird not seeing other people and going to shows, and like it's just it's definitely an adjustment.
I hear you, dude.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the going outside part is probably, yeah, it's probably the weirdest part about this. I feel
Hmm.
like other than a walk, it's not
Yeah.
happening, or other than
I
just
know. Yeah. I mean, I miss going out to like going to like a park or a hike, or like going to shows or restaurants. Yeah, it's also been like, maybe it's because I live in LA and I'm like just like super like used to it being nice, but because it's been like really rainy and cold, it's made me extra not want to even go outside. And so it means it means that like in addition to like being isolated, I'm like not even going anywhere either, even for like walks. Except for yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, my power went out at my apartment. But it was actually hella nice outside, and I like took a bike ride, and it was like sweet. I was like, what am I doing, man? I need to get out more. I was like, damn, there's a big world out there. But it was just like refreshing just to like have a change of scene. Um, but yeah, so
I feel you, dude. I'm
yeah,
I'm gonna ask you also, man. Like,
yeah,
I've been checking out your videos that you've been posting, where you've just
yeah,
been doing collaboration stuff. I'm wondering, man, talk about that. Like,
yeah.
because I know, man, you're like someone who is already so into this stuff before. Maybe just talk a bit about, yeah, maybe give us a little bit of background on your history, or your
Yeah,
history with regard to audio production and vibes playing and everything you do.
I'm
Just
I'm down. Let's do it. Yeah. I mean, so you obviously know me, but and we were roommates and everything. We go way back. But I guess yeah. So musically, I started on this thing, the vibraphone, which is always going to be my number one bay. And so in playing the vibes, it's a kind of niche instrument, only fits in a couple kind of contexts. So as I was getting older through like high school and stuff, I was like, man, vibe sucks. Like it's not cool. It's like a xylophone. Everyone thinks it's lame, even though it's sweet. And so I started learning guitar and bass and kind of got my keys chops up a little bit. So I've always kind of considered myself like trying to be a multi-instrumentalist, and in part because it just gives me more versatility to fit in other styles of music, which I really love. I love jazz and acoustic music, but I also like funk and rock and R&B and whatever, like all these other different genres that the vibes doesn't always fit into.
right.
Um, so, and I know that was obviously something I was like experimenting with in high school and college and stuff. Um, and I've always loved like composing music and stuff. So I think as I started getting into a little bit more of like music technology, that kind of came from I don't know, having GarageBand as a kid and like messing around and making terrible beats, but also just like wanting to record my own music. Just wanted to learn how to like record bands I was in and playing in and make them sound really good. And then also had a job doing live sound at the Cat and the Cream back in the day. So I learned a lot about just like how to mix things and how that all works. Um, but yeah, I feel like I kind of like fell into this world of being like in like music production almost by accident, because some of the projects I was involved in, we would like go to the studio and get things recorded, and then get them mixed, and it cost a lot of money, but ended up sounding amazing. And then at a certain point, it was like, man, I could probably do that. And like also starting to get into more music that was a little bit more like, synthesizer based or drum program based, where you don't necessarily need a giant studio like with to record live drums and stuff. So just a lot of experimentation for years. So I feel like probably from like 2013 is kind of when I started like really getting into like, how do I, make stuff sound good on the computer. And then still trying to figure it out. But yeah, so now that's a major part of what I do. And I guess the like, videos and stuff I've been posting, there's like collaborations. It's just sort of been, I often just like try to showcase that I play different instruments and like just kind of use, Instagram and social media as like, here's these little clips of just like ideas that I maybe will never turn into a full song. But they're just kind of fun. Cause as a musician, like you like come up with stuff and you're like, this is sweet. But then, maybe it never ends up you giving the full amount of time to turn it into a giant composition or recording it on an album or something, but it's just like a cool idea. So it's been kind of a nice way to like put some of that stuff out and just kind of have fun with it. And then I think since we're all stuck at home, it's sort of like you see musicians posting dope stuff and it's like, oh man, let me hop on that. Almost like, the way you would at like a jam session where you hear like, the band is killing it and you want to get in there and like add your own thing and kind of add to the whole thing. So, I feel like this is like maybe the closest we can get right now, in terms of like collaboration musically and stuff. So, I've been having fun with it.
Dude, sounds dope. I mean,
Yeah. Thanks, man.
I
Yeah.
loved, I mean, I'm not just saying this. I find that, one thing you're able to do, that a lot of other, I would say, maybe not, is it seems like you find a different personality with each new instrument and each new kind of thing you pick up. I'm wondering if you might be able to just speak to that. This has nothing to do,
Yeah.
this has nothing to do with
No.
stuff, but I'm curious. Just what
No, I'm down. Yeah. I mean, I feel like what I might say to that is sort of like each instrument has its own kind of like role in the ensemble and like what part it plays. And so, if I'm thinking about playing bass, for example, like your role is really to like hold it down and like provide the groove and the fundamental and everything. And so, like, if I could play bass to the level that I can play vibes, and I was doing all that, it would be really annoying, and no one would want to play with me. You're like, dude, shut up, like, stop. And so you kind of have to like figure out like, okay, how can I like be like, I mean, I'm terrible at sports, but like, the sports analogy is always a good one where it's like, all right, if you're playing defense, you got to be like, you can't be making like really, bold moves and kind of like expecting things to just like work out. You got to like really hold it down and be there for the team.
Right.
So I feel like that's like, if you're a drummer or a bass player or like, it kind of depends on your role musically. And then also just like the different people you listen to, like, I don't know, like on guitar, for example, like I love jazz guitar and I love like modern jazz and stuff, but like that's just not something I've really spent the time to really be able to play, because whenever I play jazz, I play vibes. But for me, guitar is like a way to like play more like R&B and soul and like rock and stuff. So I listen to different kind of guitar players and try to like figure out those ways of playing. And it's sort of like, we're all multifaceted people. So musically you can kind of like, at least for me, I find I can bring out different vibes or different musical personalities on different instruments and stuff. But vibes, hey. I don't know, man. I mean,
It's definitely going in the tags of this video when it gets posted.
yeah, exactly. Hashtag vibes. Hashtag good vibes. That's funny. But I feel like that might be part of it. And also, I mean, maybe just to tag on that one more thing is like, we all listen to so much music. I mean, just thinking about like people of our generation and like, I feel like earlier generations when they were coming up, they're like, this is the popular music, that's the thing. But like popular music now means so many different things. It's like hip hop and electronic music and, live instruments and folk music and indie rock or whatever. And so it's like sort of like you're always exposed to all these things and it's so easy to access that. So it's sort of like trying to just bring in all those different influences and have fun with it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love that attitude and I love that spirit toward it.
Cool. Thanks.
I guess one thing I gotta ask though, it seems like you're doing great, regardless of whether or not we're in isolation and everything's locked down, or whether or not things are just, flourishing and you're,
Yeah.
full, the travel lines are open and
Yeah.
I guess what I'm curious to know is, as a result of this isolation, what things have really shifted? I mean, I know everything, obviously, it seems like things just converted from going from in-person lessons and you showing up
Mhm.
for, where you teach,
Yeah. Mhm.
actually, sorry, I got to ask this.
No.
University.
Yeah, I mean it's a college. You know, I can't say we're a full university, but I guess it's we've recently changed the name from Icon Collective School of Music to Icon Collective College of Music because we got like fully accredited by California,
Dope.
which is sweet. So and I yeah I enjoy teaching people who are a little bit older and have a little bit more kind of like life experience or whatever. So it's been fun.
Totally, totally. So
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
shifting everything. My question is
yeah.
what has changed for you? Like, I guess, and also, man, if you got projects, plug them. Like, I know you've talked
Oh
about
yeah.
doing, but like, plug the actual project.
I'm down. I'm down. Yeah, but no, I mean that's a good question because I mean I feel like just in our conversation so far, I'm like, man, things are chill. You know, I'm just out here, you know, making beats.
Right.
So, but I mean, I'm sure you feel this way, and a lot of our musician friends and just you know so many people from different industries are just like a lot of their work has dried up. So like I had a lot of gigs that were planned, like things that just got canceled straight up, like you know weddings, corporate gigs, gigs with like my band that are kind of like more of like a passion project thing. There's one where we'd sold like 75 tickets already, and then they're like, yeah, the whole show's not happening, and so we had to like refund everyone. You know, this kind of sucks, but so there's definitely those things that you like look forward to, and you know, I think we all love playing music with people. That's like what kind of got me into playing music is like the whole like community vibe and like just being in the space with everybody. So not being able to do that has definitely been a bummer. Um, so there's definitely that side. On a more personal level, I mean, one thing that's been a bummer for me is that my girlfriend lives in Seattle. She like got a job there like maybe 6 months ago, and previously it was actually pretty easy because she would come down a couple times a month, or I would maybe come up and we'd hang and have a weekend or something. But because of this, you know, travel restriction and everything, then you know, I just haven't seen her in like maybe 2 months. It's been a while, which is weird. So I mean, just thinking about like someone who you know you hang with all the time and you know, but just not being able to see that person is definitely weird. And I feel the same way with a lot of my friends, though. In a weird way, you know, I'm catching up with them more often than I would normally. But yeah, it's just odd not kind of being in touch in the same way. Um, but yeah,
So it goes.
yeah,
So
there it is. You know,
yeah,
yeah.
I think you touch on a good point. I think one topic that I keep bringing up throughout the
Mhm.
interviews is just this idea of looking within. You know, this is kind of a
Mhm.
time rather than to, seek others or to seek or to like, think about your, I don't know. I guess maybe speak to
Yeah.
a bit, just like this idea of coming within and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, totally. I think, I mean, it seems like because we're all kind of like forced to be, you know, home and either, you know, just on our own or with, you know, our significant other, our, you know, roommates or whatever, you sort of like, it almost feels like there's a wrench thrown at everything. And then it's like, it puts everything on pause. And obviously we're not because time's still passing and we're still doing stuff, but it kind of makes you sort of sit with yourself a little bit more. And so maybe, you know, I could probably do more of this, but I feel like there is some like self-reflection that's kind of going on where it's like, well, like, what have I been doing the last couple of years? And like, is this really what I want to do? And then like now that maybe things have slowed down, you kind of have to like think about it and consider it. So, I mean, uh, you know me, I feel like I always try to like I say yes to like every project or every opportunity. I'm like, yeah, I'm down, let's do it. I'm this is sick. And then I feel like I get super burnt out, but I still try to like power through. And it's been a really refreshing thing to just like, you know, get a lot of sleep, you know, and like, you know, like simple things like that, or just only kind of like be working on the things that I really want to do. Um, and just like have a little bit more control over my own like time and space. And so that's been cool. Uh, you know, not having to spend time like driving lots of places is just a lot less exhausting. So I mean, you know, there's everything's got its like, you know, ups and downs, but um, yeah, I feel like it's a good time to kind of reflect and like think about the stuff that you normally do, and then like what you really want to be doing with that time too. And not to get dark, but I mean also like if you know just because there's so much kind of like just like you know people who are really super affected by this like physically and with their health. I mean just like also just putting that in perspective, like a lot to be grateful for, to think about like cool, like I'm here, what do I want to do with this time, and you know be thankful too.
I think, yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
point. I mean, yeah, that's like, this is a good answer. I think, dude, love
For
this,
sure.
man.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we all are. I mean, this is like, no one, no one really saw this coming. If anything,
Yeah. It's crazy.
maybe some people who work for World Health Organization did, but
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. One thing though is I feel like just given all this, the ability to, I mean, like the technology that we do have, I think is making it more bearable and more feasible than in other eras. I mean, what's the 1918 flu that I keep talking about? Like, that's like pre telephone and pre, it's just like just being able to be in touch with your, your friends and family and loved ones and be able to do, some sort of work still online is still pretty remarkable rather than like everything shutting to a halt. So obviously this is, it's still a very rough time for a lot of people, but there are some things that to be thankful for. Like, I mean, we get to talk. You're all the way in Germany. I never get to talk to you. You know what I mean?
well, we could have always done
We
this.
could have been, and that's one of the things. Where I'm like, I feel like I've like hit up like more of my friends and like talked to more of my family too, which has been kind of cool. It's like people are checking in on each other, like maybe bringing a little bit more connection and humanity, which is cool.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it's that's probably one, also for me, one of my favorite parts of this whole thing is just
Hmm.
getting to reconnect with homies and talk to them, as well as just
Yeah.
people like
Yeah.
online. It's that's that's always a little weird when you hit up people you like have DM'd and like talked with on Instagram, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, and you meet them on Zoom, and
Yeah.
but it's still cool. I think
Yeah.
it's like it's not like at all like an in-person meeting, but it's still legit, I think.
Yeah, totally. And I think also like now more than ever, people are like kind of psyched for that. They're like, "Oh, cool, man! Someone's like hitting me up." Like, it's because people just want that connection. We're very social creatures, we like that.
Oh,
So,
totally,
yeah.
totally. I guess wrapping things up, I'm
Mhm.
curious. Maybe, I mean, because we've talked about everything that I wanted to talk about and more,
Cool.
which has been the case with every single one of these interviews. But I wanted to
Sweet.
ask you about like preparing for this time, or like what have you did? Like, I mean, I know the news came and a lot of people started freezing their toilet paper. Some people even started hoarding it, and
Yeah.
you go to a store now and it's like, I want toilet paper.
Yeah. Right. It's a good luck.
Like, talk about some of the things you've done to prepare. I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I was a little bit of like a skeptic of this like really hitting the fan. And I think a lot of people were, but like I was totally following the news in China and like hearing about stuff, and I was like, man, that's super crazy. But you know how like so often when crazy things happen in the world, you like hear about it, you're like, wow, that's terrible, and then you like go about your day, which is a bummer. But I feel like we all do that, and then so I think I was like, wow, that's like really rough, and then as time continued to progress, like it's sort of like I would have more and more conversations with people who were like, well, man, what if Corona hits? And it's like, everything just started like kind of slowly shifting and our realities kind of like, molded. So I think it kind of took me a second before I was like, this is actually what we're doing. Like, for example, I had a student where I used to go to his place every week. And then at one point he's like, hey, can we do Zoom lessons? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess like if you're not comfortable with me coming over, and then like about that time I started being like, wow, well, I guess my whole school is moving online, and it's like now this is what we're doing. which I think is really, I think is for the best. But
That's how
yeah.
you students a keeper too, because they
Yeah.
ask you up for lessons. You're not
It,
around.
it's true. I wasn't like, hey man, like let's keep this going. No, yeah, he's super chill, so that was cool. But yeah, I mean, I was even actually going to go to Japan in late March, and which I was super excited about with my girlfriend. We had this like these really crazy like flights from Miles that were like really cheap. We're like, this is sick, we're gonna go. And then like as things were starting to change and just like obviously things were a little bit more rough in Asia initially. We're like, well, like if we go, are we gonna like get stuck there and then like have to quarantine on the way back and stuff? So, and then also like anytime if you go to like a new city, you want to like go out to like restaurants and like check everything out and stuff. And then if everything is like shut down, it's like, well, it's not really worth going all the way there. So, postpone that trip, which I think is for the best. But that was definitely one of the things where it was like kind of to the last second we had to like postpone things, and we're like, well, should we go or not? And I think so. It's definitely on me for being a little skeptical, but I think it's the right move. Yeah.
Move actually, and it's
Yeah.
I mean, I know Yeah, it's not even possible now, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Though I was talking to our friend Ian the other day, and he was like, "Man, like, he's like one of my other homies just got tickets to Cuba in a year from now for like $300 round trip." And I was like, "Damn, maybe that's the move." You know, like buy tickets for places you want to go in like 2 years because they're so cheap right now.
Man, I don't even know what to say to that. I'm just like,
I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I thought that was pretty funny. But anyways, man, I mean, you were asking about like preparing and stuff. So I think, I mean, maybe my thing before was just like I wasn't really prepared, and I was just sort of like, whoa, okay, life is moving. Um, yeah, but I mean, I did like a massive run to Costco and just got like a ton of food, and ate through all that, and then I've only had to go shopping one other time, and part of that is like I live on my own and like cooking a lot on my own, I can kind of ration stuff. Um,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I mean, just I think one of the key things is kind of like figuring out, which is weird. It's almost like who you're going to spend time with, like who's your like quarantine circle going to be. And like I remember like going out to like breakfast with a couple friends, and then I haven't seen any of those guys since. But like people I miss, and we're texting the other day. It's like that was the last time I went anywhere. That was the last time I saw anybody. But it is kind of interesting to kind of like figure out who you're going to kind of be spending time with. But I feel fortunate that I've been seeing a couple people and still being like making music with, one of my bands and stuff. But yeah, in terms of like really preparing, haven't done a lot. I mean, I like got some masks, and my mom sent me some like echinacea and zinc. Thanks, mom. And I don't know. Yeah.
Man, yeah, I hear you. I think, it's just a question I throw out there, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you something just because I think it's hilarious. I've shown
I'm
it to
down.
you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna love this. So here, what you're seeing are that's all oatmeal. That's
Oh
20%.
my God. Yo, you are prepared, bro.
I I realize like this is stuff I use anyway, and it's like if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
outside for like 2 months,
yeah,
I want to
dude,
bring my shit. Like if someone
that's legit.
and then we also got this here, which yeah, I'll put this on full screen.
Oh yeah, no, you got like tons of like lentils and beans and rice and stuff.
Yeah, that's rice right here. And then I got chickpeas, red lentils, green lentils,
Woo,
pepper, turmeric, pepper. It's a nice sandwich. We also
nice.
got some cinnamon, salt, some other seasonings. That was Lena's idea. Good idea. I would
Yep.
have it. And that was some got some soy milk back there, some canned
Nice.
goods, red sauce, just
Dude, you are 100% prepared, man. You're like going into war, bro.
powder right there.
Yeah.
Gotta I don't know if it's actually helping because I think
No, I think that's a great call. I mean, I one thing that I sort of did that's sort of similar, I mean, to just your giant bag of oatmeal is like I just got like a giant bag of rice and like a bunch of pasta and like tortillas. It's almost like you get all those like basics, and then you can like add other stuff on to make them more interesting. Um, but yeah, I mean that's the way to go. I don't know about you, like I don't know the times I have gone to the grocery store have been like the most stressful the past couple weeks.
that guy.
Like it's like it's like I feel like normally go to the grocery store like, oh yeah, cool, I'm just gonna pick up some stuff, whatever, or like if I forget something I'll go back in a couple days or whatever. But I was like got my mask on, got some gloves, I'm like you know like not fucking with anybody, excuse my language, but it kind of feels like everyone's like on edge and like no one wants to be near each other. um it's crazy.
It's kind of cool, man. Like before, I had to tell people, like, "Excuse me, you are in the way. Please move." And they're all like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, but now people get out of your way, they're like, I don't want to be near anybody.
Exactly.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I think I don't know, cat-like reflexes. But
Yeah, exactly.
but man, thank you, man. I really appreciate you talking. We're gonna wrap up here.
Okay, cool,
I
awesome, man. Thank you for having me on, and glad to talk about the stuff, and glad to just like connect and hear about how you're doing and stuff too.
definitely.
Yeah.
I guess I'll before I end it, I will say this. Um, yeah, dude, I always appreciate your spirit. And I always appreciate man, your positivity, and I always just appreciate, man, your musicianship. It's, I feel like your personality, like there are some players, you hear their personality through their music. That's definitely what I think of when I think of Chase Jackson. It's like, okay,
Oh man, thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate it. But hopefully that means I doesn't have a shitty personality, because then it means that I'm a shitty musician. Oh no, no, I'm messing with you. No, man, I appreciate that, and like I think that's a cool thing too. That's one of the kind of fun things about being friends with musicians, is you just like you kind of hear their own vibe, their own spirit kind of come out in their music. That's awesome. Cool, man. Appreciate it.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna end it here.